My name is Anna and I'll be guiding you today through a flowy sequence to open up through the hips and the shoulders. We will work on both areas of the body slowly, working each posture at a time, getting a little bit more technical in our practice. So let's settle into our child's pose. Have our toes touching and the knees open generously wide so the rib cage can sink in between the thighs. Now let's activate our child's pose, so try not to drop the elbows down and make it a completely relaxing posture, but we already use it as a warm-up pose. So we open all the fingers wide, we press the palms to the mat, and we stretch the arms until the elbows lift off the mat. Let's start observing our breath here. We inhale, and when we inhale, we notice the length from the pubis to the chest, so all the front of the body extends. And on the exhale, we drag our groins back and sit heavier on the heels. So just a micro movement here, we just observe. On the inhale, lengthening through the front of the body. On the exhale, pulling back and down a bit. Inhale is to find length. Exhale is to ground down. So those two movements are completely opposite to each other, lengthening forward and lengthening back. And this happens a lot in our practice. We are balancing between two opposite directions. We want in our practice to find even position, to find the center in between two opposite edges. So somewhere in the middle, in between being really long forward and really leaned back, this is where our posture always lies. Our task, our challenge is to find the center. So let's again inhale and lengthen. And exhale, settle down. So you start to find some center and your breath helps you to guide you through this movement to find this middle edge. Now we're going to go a little bit deeper and lift the palms like reversed cups. So this is when only the tips of the fingers are on the mat and the wrists are high. Press the tips of the fingers to the mat and keep the arms straight so you start feeling the armpits and your shoulders opening a little bit deeper. Just be here for a moment to prepare. And then we release. Let's roll the spine and lift up to sitting. So this is Japanese seated, just sitting onto our knees still in our child's pose position with the legs. We're going to warm up the shoulders a bit more. Let's just reach the arms forward. Cross your right arm underneath the left deep. Hook the elbows and bring the palms together. This is our eagle arms. You might feel that the palms are not coming together, so you're somewhere on the way there. That's okay. You can also make it a bit softer and just grab to the shoulders like that. If you are in the full posture, press the forearms strong together and we all lift the elbows forward and up as much as we can. Lean back in your seat so you can really work your arms and separate them and take them forward away from your shoulders, from your armpits. The shoulders can move forward as well and you have a little bit of a roundness in the upper spine here. So this is not a back bend, we are not straight, we are actually allowing it all to come forward. And then release. Let's take the other side. Both arms come forward, left deep or underneath your right. We hook, we bring the palms together or as far as we reach in this variation. Elbows forward and up. As if you want to lift them higher than the nose, the shoulders move forward after the elbows and the shoulder blades start wrapping around the chest. This is what happens when the upper spine is a bit round. Just lean back, try not to curve forward. Have a soft lower back, so only the arms are moving. And then we release. Alright, beautiful. Now we go a little bit deeper into this variation. We open the knees wider, so maybe even wider than the mat. As wide as you can without lifting your bum off the heels. So knees are out, you have a bit of a stretch to the groins already, and then we walk our fingertips forward, and maybe you can keep your fingertips in this position like reversed cups, so your shoulders are still active, and now we try to sink with the chest and the chin to the mat. And this starts to be a bit deeper, so if the hip starts lifting a tiny bit, that's okay. If you don't reach completely all the way down, that's okay as well. Try to guide it with the chest. So you want the chest to be heavy and reach down to the mat as far as you can. Keep the arms straight. Another thing is that ideally you want to have the chest and the chin on the mat here, but sometimes the neck doesn't feel good about it, and that's alright. Then just bring the forehead to the mat and just sink through the shoulder blades, through the chest, trying to go lower, reach reaching with the heart to the sky. And this is a nice posture that activates both hips and shoulders and upper body. So you have both parts of the body working here into the opening, which is kind of what we are trying to do in today's practice in few of our postures. So if you had your attempt into this one, let's slowly release and roll out of it. And bring the knees to face forward, bring the palms to the mat. So onto all fours, we tuck the toes under, we pick up the hips a little bit, press the chest towards the thighs until you touch or almost touch with the chest to the thighs, hips are high, and then we are trying to stretch the legs. This is your downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Press with the palms to extend through the waist. You have this pyramid position of the body where the hips or the sitting bones are the summit. And the legs and the arms are energetically collecting up towards the summit. Now we're going to try and take a twist in our downward facing dog. Maybe you will need to bend the knees more to do that, or even step the feet a tiny bit closer so have a smaller step. That's right, either variation. We are twisting the chest to the right and we are looking up from underneath the right armpit. Now allow your left shoulder blade, this shoulder blade, to drop down, and then maybe you can even reach with your left palm to your right leg. Ideally you want to grab to the ankle or to the shin, to the outer edge of the leg, and looking up. This is your twist. Press onto your right palm to keep balanced. Then we come back through the center. And we go the other direction, twist to the left, and then maybe grab with your right palm to your left shin or ankle. Really dive from underneath this left armpit, left bicep. Let the right shoulder blade sink. Coming back through center, downward facing dog, coming back to be even. Move next to our standing sequence for today. So again, moving one posture at a time, entering slowly into the pose. Just turn your left heel a tiny bit towards the right, so you ground the whole of the left foot, but your left heel is looking towards your right foot. And then we step the right foot through in between the palms. You can do it in a few steps. Just see that you have a good setup. So the right heel is in line with the middle of your left foot. We press through the feet and we lift up into our warrior two position. So here again we are working into two resistant edges and trying to balance in and finding our center in the pose. So as we sink through the hips and we bend onto this right knee, we also look to the right, so the posture feels as if it's going a lot to the right, so a lot forward. But we want to balance that and have a bit more of a center, so there is a quite strong force that pulls us to the left. We can do it by looking to the left, which is straight away gives direction to the body to turn everything to the left. So once you look to the left, your chest and your belly will turn back. And then once this is set up and this is in the center, you can come back only with your face to the right. So this is a little trick that can help you to find your middle in your warrior two. Now once you have that, just soften the shoulders and sit a little bit lower. Again, see that you're even on both feet, which is again two different directions that needs to be balanced and even, and this is your pose. On the inhale, we will reverse our warrior, so we take our right arm up and over and we stretch through the right side. Then we will stretch our right leg, and here we create a lot of length through all the right side of the body. Right fingertips to right toes, long line. Try to really create a lot of length here to create an advantage for your next pose. Inhale, on the exhale, start reaching far to the right, keep everything long on the waist, on the arms, on the legs, then the right palm drops down and the left arm is up. This is your Chiconasana Triangle. And it doesn't matter how low you go with your right palm, again you want to balance it out in between all the different forces that operate on the pose. So your feet are evenly grounded. And as much as you want to reach down with your right palm, as strongly try to grow tall with the chest to the sky. So you operate on those two different edges and you find some middle ground in between. In between, leaning forward to the right and holding yourself strong with your left leg. In between, dropping down with your triangle and really extending and opening everything up. Maybe you can even look up and soften a bit through the shoulders, so have a bit more relaxed, calm posture here. And let's come out of it, come back to your warrior two. We are doing one more, starting to go a bit deeper. So sit lower onto your hips, right knee bent, we reach far to the right. Then first bring your right elbow onto your right thigh and the left arm up. This is your side angle pose, Pashmikonasana. Ground through your back foot, evenly grounding through both feet. So usually this foot will have a little bit more of an advantage, so bring your attention to the left side. And then again, if you want to go deeper, you can take your left arm up and over the head or slide lower with your right fingertips, but just remember that you're still balancing it out. So once you start going lower with your right palm, you need to work much stronger on lifting your chest up and unraveling your belly, your chest to the sky. Pashmikonasana, if you had your attempt here, let's come out. Let's just do it pretty and reverse our warrior. And then cartwheel the palms and come back through center. Bring the palms to the hips, turn the toes to parallel. So we're going to set up here for our goddess pose in between the sides. Bring your heels more in than the toes and bend the knees so the knees are tracking over the toes. Sitting lower into your squat. Bring your belly a little bit in, your ribs a little bit in, so you feel that you are not really leaning forward and flaring the ribs forward, but you are nice and long through the spine. So there's a bit of a lean back in your sit here, and you start to feel your quads much stronger. Once you're ready, bring the palms to the heart. Sit a bit lower, soften through the shoulders, breathe through this fire in your thighs. Alright, and now let's bring the palms down so the fingertips are facing towards each other. Spread with your palms, your thighs apart, and you can lean a bit more forward here. You straight away have less of a challenge to hold your spine straight. It kind of happens automatically once we lean forward. So let's soften a bit through the shoulders, find our posture, our squat as deep as we can, and we're going to twist. So again, coming back to our shoulder and hips working together. Drop your left shoulder down, and you can turn the face to the right. So you start twisting to the right here. If you're starting to have more range of movement, maybe you feel that your right shoulder really comes on top of your left, and then you can look up towards the sky. If the neck feels uncomfortable, just keep looking to the right, or even you can look down to the floor. Then we come out through center. Shoulders are even. Let's drop the other side. Right shoulder goes down. We turn to the left. Left shoulder is on top of the right, and then maybe you will look up. And come back through center. Let's slowly transit to the next side. So stretch up just to come out pretty out of it. Then bring your right toes to face forward, your left toes to face out. See what distance your legs are that you are comfortable into your warrior two. You want to have space to launch with the hips. Again, we're going to trick our body a little bit to find the center. So we are turning the gaze to the right, chest and belly turns as well. Weight onto this right foot. And then keeping it all as it is, we just turn the face. Soften here, try to see that your torso is in the middle and not leaning anywhere too much. Inhale, we reverse and stretch through the left side, and then you stretch your left leg, and again you prepare yourself to go into a deeper, longer posture. We reach far to the left into our triangle, and you can really see that as longer you go, as more you really find center and balance in between all of those forces, as more all of your lines will become straight and long in your triangle. Long legs, long arms, long waist. Look up towards your right thumb. Soften through your shoulders. And let's press back up. Warrior two. One more here. Pashmikonasana, side angle. Reach far to the left. Bring your left elbow onto your left knee. Right arm up. This is the first variation. This is a variation that everyone can do. You can just hold here. Work on balancing onto both feet. Work on opening the chest to the sky. If you have more, you can start sliding your left fingertips down, but remember that that will require even a stronger work from you to lift the chest. And then you can take your right arm up and over the head. This is your full posture. And let's lift back up. Warrior two. And we reverse it to just come out pretty with a stretch. Let's come back through the center, palms onto the hips, toes are parallel. We are folding forwards. Have your feet parallel and see that you bring the weight a little bit more forward towards the toes and a little bit further out onto the outer edges of the feet. So that way sometimes you might feel as if you're almost folding or falling forwards. But this is good because usually we tend to sink a bit more further back onto the heels. We want to be even, and this means that the weight is a bit more forward. If you look at yourself from the side, you can see that your hips are in line with your heels and your bum doesn't stick back. That will help you to be even. From here, we just forward fold, relax the head. If you need to bend the knees a little bit, I haven't said before, but that's okay. Just to reach lower with your head. And then we interlace the fingers behind the back and we stretch the arms. For some of you, the wrists will come together. For some of you, the wrists will be apart. Try to take the arms as far from the back as you can and the shoulders away from the ears. If you have more, maybe your arms start going over the head forward. Just see that you don't collapse with your shoulders to the ears, but prioritize lengthening through the neck. Let's change the interlace of the fingers just to feel a little bit difference on the other side, so the other set of fingers is on top. And then you're slowly letting it go. Fingertips are on the mat, lengthen through the spine, have this little half lift, chest forward, bring the palms onto the hips. If your knees were bent so far, let's just stretch the legs and really soak the kneecaps towards the thighs, and from here with long even legs and long spine we'll lift up. Try to be really long and even when you lift up from those stretches, especially try to notice that one knee is not bent, the other is doing something else. So we want to be careful on our knees, we want to be engaged when we transit from posture to posture. Alright, beautiful. Let's come out of that and we will going to do a little bit of a balance sequence next. So set up for your balance sequence, just standing at the end of your mat with the feet together in Tadasana. Just preparing for our balance sequence, we will move through a few postures one after the other in a sequence and try to see how our balance today standing on one leg. So again, a game of balancing and finding center in between negative opposite edges, trying not to fall. So let's stretch the arms forward, take your right arm underneath the left, hook the elbows, bring the palms together. We are reach with the elbows forward and up just like we've done before, the shoulders come forward. Hopefully the shoulders by now feel a little bit more open. We are sitting lower down and we are threading the right leg once or twice over the left. Now try to squat a bit lower, and if you don't reach with the right foot to thread twice, that's okay to keep it here, or even bring the right toes on the mat for support. This is your eagle pose. Try to keep the spine upright and the elbows as high as possible. From here we will move into an open eagle, so a different variation of eagle. We are just releasing the palms and let's first just bring them to the heart just to hold stable. It's okay if you fell 1,000 times, just slowly come back to this posture. We are sliding the right ankle on top of your left thigh, so now your right knee is opened out and we are sitting lower into a squat. This is like a figure 4 with the legs. You can lean a little bit more forward and you can just stay here or take a more hardcore variation of your eagle. Interlace the fingers behind the back like we've done before and start bowing down, and this is already starts to be really challenging for the balance. See how you go with that one. You can try more than once. Look down or maybe completely bow the head down if you're feeling comfortable. The next variation we'll try from here is just to release the arms and grab to your right leg. I like to start with right knee and right foot, and I just pick it up with my palms and try to straighten up. Whew. So this is standing pigeon. You can then try and maybe grab onto the ankle to bring your right leg a bit higher, or even hug your leg into your elbows and try to bring the right shin to the chest. This is the variation. If you had your attempt, then slowly release it out and relax the right foot down. I know it is hard to hold the postures for longer in this sequence. Don't be too hard on yourself. You can try a few times and fall. This is what the balance postures are for us to fall and try. Let's do the other side. First the arms forward, left arm underneath the right, thread the forearms, bring the elbows higher. And then we sit lower down, take your left leg once or twice over the right. Find your position. Trying to hold. And then we change. Let's first relax the arms. Bring your palms to the heart first. Then slide your left ankle on top of your right thigh. See which leg is a bit more balanced today. Sometimes I heard teachers say that if you're hard to balance on your right leg, you are a bit struggling with accepting your future and your left leg is representing the past. So it might be because of that. It might be just because one leg is more balanced than the other today. Again, you can try many times. Maybe you bow down into your deeper variation. And the next variation, we try to grab to this left leg and pick it higher up for your standing pigeon. Maybe just holding it like that, maybe grabbing to the ankle, maybe hugging it to the elbows. Your goal is to lift the left chin up towards the chest as high as you can. Try to stand up tall. All right, and we release. Enough. Beautiful attempt. Let's relax now and come to sitting. So arrive to sit with the legs spread open. This is Pashmikonasana, open-legged fold. We will do a few variations here, just using the space we created in the hips and the shoulders to go into a deeper variation of the pose. Now, if you straight away see that you're leaning backwards a bit in your seat as you sit down, and it's really hard to straighten the legs, you can just sit on something, even take a cushion from your house or a blanket, rolled up blanket, and just sit up a bit taller. You can also close the legs a tiny bit closer together and bend the knees a bit. Just prioritize for yourself to be in the best stretch for you that you can be in. So first we are just reaching forward. This is like we've done standing. So just reaching forward as far as you can. You can either reach with the palms forward or grab to your feet. Try to lengthen through the chest and balance in between, creating the length from the pubis to the chest and also grounding onto the hips. So similar to what we've done in child's pose, use your breath to find balance. So inhale to lengthen from pubis to chest, and exhale to drag the groins back and become more grounded with your sitting bones. Lengthen on the inhale, ground on the exhale. When we are pulling evenly to two different directions, the waist will be maximum long and the fold will be deeper. It feels like the direction is only forward, but actually again this is a balanced movement in between two opposite edges. Once you had your attempt into this one, now we are turning to the right leg, so we'll take a variation. So the chest turns towards the right knee, belong with the waist, and we just set it up first. So try to reach with your left palm to your right foot somewhere. And if you don't reach, then maybe you reach to the shin or to the knee, just as far as you have that, just to grab first. Then you slide your right palm underneath your left, so into this hole that you created in between your left arm and your right leg. If you can, slide your right arm even more forward and away from your right leg, and then try to lie with your right shoulder on top of your right knee. Next thing will be to dive underneath your left armpit like we've done in our downward facing dog twist, and see how deep you can go with it. Now, maybe you are trying to get there and you're somewhere stuck here. It will really help you to lift the left arm then, and then you can twist more and open the chest. And even if you're not very low and you're somewhere here, that's okay. It's all a variation of your posture. Parivrita Pashmikonasana, this one, quite deep stretch through the waist particularly. So be careful, see that you are feeling comfortable on this side. Then we are lifting up, and let's try the other side. So you turn towards the left leg, reach with your right palm to your left foot just as far as it gets. Then slide your left arm underneath, and we start diving from underneath the right armpit. If you can, you go lower, as low as to touch with your left shoulder blade, onto your left knee, so really lying down. Or maybe you're just much higher up somewhere here. Try to ground this right sitting bone, so you can see that mine, once I get a little bit more flexible and a little bit lower, this bum wants to lift up. Try to again balance it out and keep it even. Looking up if you can. And then release. Beautiful, so this is it for today. Let's grab underneath the knees and slowly collect the knees together, hugging them into the chest, and just recover the back and recover the hips as you cuddle yourself in, head down. Let's release from here and come to lie on the back for our relaxation. When you're ready, settle into your relaxation. Corpse pose, Shavasana. This is when we lie down on the back in a complete calm, relaxed position with the mind completely still. This is sometimes considered to be the hardest posture in our practice. Here we really need to challenge our mind to commit to the space of stillness. Shavasana is a conscious relaxation, so we are not going to sleep. Our mind should stay alert but completely empty from all thought. This is a space that is really hard for us to maintain. Our mind always wants to change and grasp to some thoughts that come in through. We want to try and be as external as possible to it and just hold this empty, still space. This is again the same principles that we were talking about before, finding a balance in between two resistant edges or resistant concepts. So some center in between being completely relaxed but also being alert and conscious. Leave few more minutes or maybe at least few more breaths for this practice, for attempting to maintain the center in this pose as well. Thank you for sharing with me and the universe your own authentic practice. Namaste.